Today we have with us Dana, and she's going to tell us today about her experience in walking the Camino de Santiago. I hope I pronounced correctly. So in English, it's called the Way of Saint James. It's a well-known, perhaps the most famous, at least in Europe, network of pilgrims' ways leading to the shrine of the Apostle Saint James the Great, which is in the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela. And this road is located in Galicia, northwestern Spain. But actually, what I found out looking on the internet, that these roads leading to Santiago de Compostela are in the whole Western Europe. So you can start your pilgrimage from London. You can start it from Paris, from all the countries in Europe. There are ways leading to the Santiago de Compostela. So what is it? It's a spiritual path or retreat for spiritual growth. But also at the same time, it has become a popular route for hikers and cyclers, and even organized tours are taking this walk. Looking a little bit back in the history, it actually became very popular pilgrimage in the medieval times, and it was well known from the 10th until the 14th century. After that, it became less popular due to different historical circumstances like wars and plague, and it regained its popularity again in the last decades of the 20th century. So nowadays, each year, around 200 pilgrims take this route, and the numbers are growing each year by about 10%. So it's becoming more and more popular. And the route that most people take, so the most popular route, we could say, is about 780 kilometers. So Dana will tell us more about the practical issues today and about the emotional meaning of taking this road and her experience. So let's start with a very important question. How did you decide to go the way of Saint James?
Yeah, hi everyone. So nice to be here and nice to be for this first podcast. I guess we are very excited with Alice to do that. And I hope that will be interesting also for you to listen. Yeah. Let's say now, last 5 years I live in Norway, and as we know, there have been quite a bit of rough time also last 5 years. So it's we've been experienced COVID, and I guess it impacts lives of many of us. But idea about Camino. There is several reasons which go together, but I had a choice in that moment when I was in Norway. I felt quite bad emotionally and mentally because it was very hard year, my last year. So the main, not main, but the big reason, I guess in Norway, especially also with the COVID, people really were staying with themselves. So the communication was really like not active, and Norwegians itself actually are quite by themselves or with people who they know better, and in general, so it's reasons of together with COVID, some loneliness or some not belonging to community, difficulties to integrate, and actually, in general, find your community. I bought my ticket one day before.
Oh, that's indeed spontaneous. But how did you know about this road? Because I mean, I've seen it in a film and I've read some experience stories. Did you know someone personally who has done it, or how did you get to this idea to go there exactly?
Yeah, right. Actually, some many years ago, my friend mentioned about that, like probably some 10 years ago, and and because I didn't know anything at that time, I just remember that time when she mentioned, I was like, wow, what is that? That's interesting, and this and that, and and then it was just in my mind, so. And I remember some years ago, I was watching movie with Reese Witherspoon, The Way, I think. Oh no, Wild. Sorry, Wild. And it really took me. So, and it still was somewhere subconsciously in my mind. So yeah. So that's basically I found out from my friend like many years ago.
So, and what do you do? So you got your ticket, then you packed your bag. How did you
Mm,
know what to take with you? Did you check it on internet, or did you have previous experience? I suppose not, because you said you don't do these things
No, no,
daily, so regularly.
no, definitely not. Um, uh, no, first, of course, I was checking out and basically collecting all information, right? Um, because tickets, remember, I bought in the last minute, okay? uh, because I actually last minute I couldn't really, I was doubting myself, till the last minute. So, but it took me about actually like let's say 2 full days uh really to go deep in that. And of course Google, that's our closest friend nowadays, right? And you can find everything there, of course, because Camino de Santiago nowadays are extremely, I mean, it's known, it's popular, and so it's you can find all kind of information about that. I would say even too much, because then you have to really understand and pick what you really need. So it's like nowadays in general, we have too much information about everything.
And for how many days did you plan to go? So where did you start, and how many days you considered it would take you to get to the Santiago de Compostela?
Yeah, right. So first of all, in my mind was okay, what I can do, I will do like uh 7 days. That's what I was like. First in my mind, I was like, okay, how long I could walk. It's like I never did it. Like just walk. uh, then I started to check, okay, where I have to start. Like I checked everything in the internet, and then I started to read about most popular road, which is French way, which starts in France. It's like yeah, uh, for not these days it's like most popular, and another is Portuguese way, which is in Portugal. But and then I started to read about this French way, and I was like, it's 900 k, and you have to walk 1 month. And I was like, excuse me, what? How you can do that? And then it's like my mind worked like, okay, I can do maximum 2 weeks. So, and I found that, of course, you see that road, and I just took basically half of the French, the most popular. Although I was checking all all passes. So because there are several ones, and but this French is the most of the kind of the you meet most people. Like it's not like a lonely walk. More, it's you have more people there, and it's like a safe version. That let's say that it's not like you're gonna lose yourself in the forest, you know. uh, so I took like more or less safe because I didn't feel mentally very strong, and yes, so I chose the half, and I walked in Spain from Lyon, and yes, and it was with another alternative routes. It was about 350K, and it and in general, you can read in internet that average people can make 25K per day. And average, it happened also to me, but maybe I will tell a bit later how actually it happened in reality. But so I made it in 13 days.
You stick to your plan.
Yeah,
Indeed.
more or less. Mm.
So
Little bit faster even.
So how do you find the start? I mean, okay, you found probably a town from which you will start the walk. So you get there, and then is it easy to find? I mean, are there many people already around, or how do you know where to go exactly?
Exactly. That's a good question because because this was my main problem, because this was what I couldn't find a lot of information about that. Well, yeah, so then I was like thinking, okay, how I can get there and how to plan my trip, where to fly. And I was looking for cheapest tickets, and so I knew that I had to start from Lyon. So to fly to Lyon was very expensive. So I decided to fly to Madrid. There I stayed in a hostel one night. Actually, in the end, 2 nights, because I changed my mind. I thought, okay, I want a little bit see Madrid as well. So, and then let me see. I found a hostel for pilgrims in Lyon, because I had to get to hostel there, and that I can start my way in the early morning. So I read that in hostel, this is pilgrim hostel, you can, no, they didn't say, okay, you can find information there. So I just assumed, okay, I go there and I just ask, you know, and this is how I've been living all my life. It's like, you know, we are all people, and I just will ask what I have to do and where I have to go, and that's how it happened. So, and I flew to Madrid, and then I took a cab, you know, sharing car through the app. It wasn't expensive, so I paid 17 euros only. It was like 3 hour 3 hour drive, 2 hour drive till Lyon from Madrid, with some very nice Spanish people. So they dropped me next to the hostel, so in Lyon. So I went there, and sure enough, I found all information.
So on this way, when you start walking, I suppose there are many places where to sleep, also to eat. What I've read, the infrastructure is very developed. Is it easy
Yeah,
to find where to stay? Or perhaps I suppose it might depend on the season, right? When did you go exactly?
absolutely. before that, I just wanna a little bit go back and mention my start of my walk, because it was very emotional for me. So I went to this hostel, and they have special pilgrimage hostels. So, and they give you kind of passport where they make a stamp every special or in a cathedral in that village, or some town or village, or some church. They give the stamps. Okay, you've been here, so it shows you how, from where you've been walking, because to you in the end you can get a certificate that you've been doing this walk, but you have to be walk at least 100K. So anyways, they give me that passport, and you, so the funny part is like, I go to this guy and I ask, but how I know where to go? Just go where everyone goes. I was like, okay. They were looking at me, but oh my God, that's easy. It's like, you can't miss. And they say, you can't miss it. I was like, I'm on the street, next is not so far highway. What you mean? It's like, there will be signs. I was like, really? I mean, okay. So in the morning I get up, and how it starts. So there are like people, and one American and one German lady, and and this American, as Americans, of course, they talk, and he's like, "Oh my God, you just started? We've been doing this already, like 5 years ago." So I'm just another thing that people really do it like several times.
Ah, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's another thing. But and he said, "Okay, you're new. You want to come with us?" I was like, "Oh, great." So that's how easy it is. And then I start to walk, and I see these arrows, and it's literally arrows. And this my first feeling is like, oh my God, I don't need to use Google Maps. Or it's like this miracle feeling when you feel like you can go through country by signs, by arrows. It's very magical feeling.
So the signs are easy to understand, or it's
Yeah,
on
they're
the road.
yellow color, or they're on the asphalt. They're like these shells, because it's a symbol. And yeah, and it's so miracle that you go and you see these things and you think about past, like really some people been putting in this shells, or people been walking like so many years ago just by signs, right? And without like actually just regular flip-flops, not like nowadays, like you have everything, It's like
High tech.
yeah. So it's and you asked me about, that was my start, and you asked me about this about
Infrastructure on the way, yeah, where you stay,
absolutely.
where you eat, how is that organized?
Yeah, it's very easy on the French way. As I said, that's most infrastructured, maybe. I don't know if I can say so. You every I don't know after every, oh my gosh, I don't know, 5K, you will have some cafe. But first you start in a village, of course, or bigger town. So Lyon was bigger, so it's of course it's cafes and everything, um, and through more like outside of town. Yeah, I remember. So it was also very amazing. The first place where we stopped, we were walking in not nice place. I mean, through this asphalt and something like rural, because you have to get to some nature part through the town, right? But then just there on this asphalt was staying one guy, and not even selling, like for donations. That's also very common. some little shop, like coffee, orange juice, some cookies, and it was so also nice. And then he had also map on his wall, and he was pointing all countries where he met different people from. And there was also Latvian, and it was also written on the wall, like hello in every language. So and it's all for donation. It was also extremely nice. It's also these small gestures or whatever. It's like being in from old times, for donation. And they really on this road, they support these pilgrims. They you can feel this support, which is beautiful.
That sounds
Uh,
fantastic.
yeah, not always, but this like once in a while you really get it. And I mean, I met afterwards even more crazy nice places, like really like served with everything. It's like oasis. So
And the road itself, where you walk, I mean, is it a highway? Is it a smaller road? Is it very picturesque? What type or different kind of roads?
yeah, so you get fields, you get small village, you get city, you get highway, you get woods, uh, all kind of, yes, all kind of, and this is the beauty of that, I guess, because it's you learn a lot. Again, going back to my first when I started, let's say I'm not a walker or a hiker. It's not what I love to do in my life. Because I'm more active person, I get bored. So I remember I started to walk on this just the first day, and this rural area where it's nothing nice. There's no nature, even not there. It's just like
Big fields.
no, they do no, it's asphalt and some I don't know, maybe factories. It's like really disgusting.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I remember I go with these people who've been doing that already many years ago. I've been walking this, and I say it's like, oh my God, it's like it's so mentally hard because it's not inspiring me, and it's really it's mentally hard. It's like you're bored, and it's like, oh my God, another you need to walk another 2 hours like this, and I remember they told me it's like, this is the Camino. You experienced all kind of feelings, and this is your work to work with your feelings. So this is about self growth, self development, emotional strength development, and these things.
So be ready for different kind of experiences, right?
Yeah, it's like life. So the magical saying Camino is like life because you have all kind of experiences there. This is why it's so magical, and actually, that's why people come back there.
And people that you met on your way, I suppose, like you mentioned, they are generally supportive, right? They support this idea of pilgrims doing the way, and also did you get in touch with many people during? Did you walk mostly alone or in a company? Did you perhaps make any new friends, or let's say maybe not friends, but new good acquaintances during the way?
Yes, of course, of course. As I said, we call it, I say we, because all who did the Camino, we feel like we have something all common. It's like there's very two expressions very common on this road. What everyone always mention, it's like we are Camino family, and Camino is like life, as I said. So it's about this is one of the again this amazing parts where you like for example, I started to walk with these two people, and we all are different physically, and in general, we all have our goals, ideas, why we are doing that. Some were common, but everyone has their own in general, of course. And like they wanted to more this time enjoy, communicate with people and stay, maybe walk a little bit less and stay longer. So I was more tired. Maybe I didn't want to continue. So in the set in it's like that. You are alone. Like I was walking alone. There are people who were walking with friends, even families. Uh, Almost no kids, of course. It's too much
Too
for them.
complicated for kids. No.
No, some shorter ways I saw some kids, but in general there's almost no kids. And many are alone, but you're not alone. It's like in life, we all are alone actually. It's not like we born together with someone. I mean, you walk alone, and then the magical part is that you stop some cafe and then you sit there 10 minutes, and somebody who and you talked very close talks, they just come back like, oh hi, okay, then you sit together and it's like you're like this almost old friends, like you met after some time, some old friend. It's a little bit like that feeling, and again it's very fulfilling. These feelings are the most fulfilling because you walk and somebody walks behind, or I mean passes you. Most of them say hello always, and another thing, you always say Buen Camino.
Like the good road, yeah.
Yeah, good walk. Yeah, yeah,
Good
yeah.
walk.
I have a, yeah. So and then you just walk and you start to talk, and sometimes you have more superficial talks, sometimes you have more deep, um, which is again for me, of course, the most fulfilling is deep talk because I'm just a person like that, and this is what I'm looking in my life. So you meet all kind of people from all over the world.
Also, by the way, I wanted to ask, yeah, I imagine from all over the world, but what about ages of people? Is it suitable also, let's say, for middle age or older people?
That's a good question. That's a good question because you're not going to believe there was at least 50% pensioners.
Very good.
Yeah,
I suppose they walk a shorter distance, right? Not as young people.
exactly. As I say, it's like it's actually I would say French route is most suitable for everyone, just because you have the most options. It's not like you're middle of nowhere and now you just don't have a choice. It's like if you're tired, you walk, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, and there will be some cafe. Well, there were actually some parts uh, before Lyon, I heard from people where they've been almost like in desert where there's nothing, and they had to walk for 2 hours. There are also these kind of places, but from Lyon where I walked, it's nothing like that. It's very safe, and yeah, so it's everyone can do it.
That sounds fantastic.
Everyone, yes, because you don't have to rush and everything. But sorry, I didn't tell you about. You were asking me important question about places to stay. I didn't say about that. So it's also separate subject. It just because the thing is, you can do old-fashioned manner way and nowadays way. For example, nowadays you have apps for everything, right? So of course you have for Camino as well, and not even one, and you can book places at once, like good hotels. But the main concept, I would say, what I read, of course, it was basically hostels, and the main, not mainly, but the real concept is to stay municipal albergo. So it's a governmental hostel, where is the least payment, and it's only for pilgrims.
And I suppose it only also includes those places in monasteries, right, where you can stay. Because
Exactly,
I read
and that's what they call this is the monasteries, and they call them albergo municipal, and this can be it's basically a monastery, or it's sometimes just a new building built, so especially, but in this smaller villages, it was this monastery, and this was the most amazing part, because that's where you get this vibe, you know.
yeah.
And what is that? And that you can't book previously placed there. So this is the story about like you walk and you like almost you have to trust God, whatever, that you will have a place there.
And when did you, Dana, when did you go? Which season was that?
Yeah, right. I did in October, which consider this is also one of the reasons I decided also, because it's early autumn, or it's spring, right? So the weather is the best that time. So it was the best weather for
Because I've
Camino.
read that in summer, first of all, it must be very hot, and secondly, could be problematic because it's very crowded. So then
Exactly.
maybe it can happen that
Exactly.
you cannot find a place to stay sometimes that easily.
Exactly. It is exactly like that. But another thing, what I learned, that it was quite crowded considered to other years. Of course, COVID was
Post-COVID, yeah.
yes, exactly, post-COVID, post-traumatic treatment, and yeah, it was still it was quite crowded, as people like hostel owners said, and but it was decent. So yeah,
In
and the
October,
weather was beautiful.
weather was nice. Yeah, it's not raining or anything at that time.
Couple days, like maybe in the end it was maybe it was yeah, second part of wait a second, when did I start? Jesus, I don't even remember. But yeah, second part of October, like there was some couple days of rain, but it's life, you know.
Yes, the
You have
experience, different
yes,
experiences,
yes,
some
exactly.
challenges on the way.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I think it's easier to walk in a little rain than a very hot sun, right?
Absolutely. I totally agree.
So now a question about culture, actually, because as you said, of course, there are people from all over the world, and you get to know new people and get in touch a little bit with other cultures also by meeting people. But what about the local culture? How much did you get to experience Spanish culture on your way? Of course, the monasteries where you were staying, yes, small towns.
Yeah, as much I would like to communicate with older generation, because that's where I find I could get deeper understanding about culture, and so I generally wasn't really able to communicate with that people because I just didn't know English unless I use all the time Google Translator, which I also did, of course. But some of course, locals who work in tourism, of course, they spoke English or some English, and the cafes, so they have their traditional, some traditional food. Of course, they're nice. When you go through some towns, and so sometimes there are some festivals, and you can watch it. But for all that, you need time. So it's more like this, that you go through, and then through the villages and cities, and then of course there is all architecture, and I was also just going and looking the small buildings. I like this, from from last century, and churches, of course, churches as always in Europe, and but I always took my possibility if there was some Spanish, which I found by walking alone. One time I was walking, and there was again coffee, water, and it's like donation, and nobody was there, like nobody. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cute. And it's everything. You could sit there and take some apple, and it was like a private house. And I came, and I took some coffee, and then sat down, and I was like, okay, nobody. It's like I was like, hello, like, okay, nobody. And then some guy came out, and he was real Spanish, and around my age, like adult man. And yeah, we talked a little bit about everything. So, and how he's living there alone in that house. He used to be tax administrator in the city, and he enjoys his life now. So he serves pilgrims, and he rents out this country house, and then when he rents out, he stays at night in his camper van. Another funny fact, maybe I can mention, because that only I can know. um, it was very surprising for everyone, even though other people we were working with. Guess which nationality was the most?
Yes. So I don't know which most people
Guess.
walking.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, I
Can
don't
you
have really.
give some additional hints? I mean, is it related to religion or not? Or
Yeah. Well, let's say, of course, I don't have a proved research statistically, but it was definitely, I talked to different people, like owners of whatever hostels and hotels. So yeah, it's been, I think, the year where that nationality was the top. Let's say hint. They've been struggling with the. Oh yeah, okay. This is not a good hint with the political issues. I mean,
okay, British. No,
um,
Americans.
yes. So can you imagine the Americans? I never would think that there
Yeah,
will be
me
so many
neither, because
Americans.
it's very far. Yeah.
Exactly, and this is what we all think. And you walk like, and of course, who is the most talkative? Americans. Probably that's why I like them in that way.
But about
Uh,
Yeah, but about
yeah.
Americans and generally about the route, I wanted to ask how important is the religious element? So I suppose part of people they go also because of religious reasons, like the true pilgrimage in a Christian sense, and then there are people who are looking for spirituality, and maybe some are just very fanatic hikers. So I suppose there are different
Mm.
types of people. Maybe which type of people did you meet? Most? What's your opinion? Why people do this route?
Yeah, of course I do have opinion because that was my always first question. Why do you do that? Because for me, this is crucial. Uh, because I was going there myself to find maybe some answers and so. Well, I don't know if it's a sad part or not, but I have to tell because of the reasons. Probably I met maximum 5 people on all my roads. Uh, it's I think it's long time when it's not about religion anymore. Mostly people do it to have their time with themselves. That was the what I felt, and then under that you can put many things. It's like, um, but that's the main thing. Other ones, other categories like did you want something new, something new to do, in your life, what you never did. Because whatever you have reason, like it's there is no doubt it's absolutely unique experience. There is no doubt. Everyone who did it, they will tell you.
So those people, do they have a previous experience in hiking or not? Maybe I don't know if you discussed that. Like you said, for example, you don't. It was not. It wasn't something that you would enjoy doing, and you didn't do before much hiking. What about others?
Um, mm, no, I have to say, actually, a lot of people I met, they enjoy hiking. They enjoy walking. I guess even the most, I can't say there were many like me who would say, no, I actually don't like walking. I was kind of exception. But I don't like many things in life doing, but I still do because you get other benefits out of that, right? But yeah, about experience, um,
Maybe
I have to
yes,
say,
but maybe you could
mhm.
tell us what was the main thing you would say what you gained from doing this route.
Mm, main thing, it's always hard to put just one thing, but then I have to like how to call it, globalize, or if I can say so. Um, Main thing, like in general speaking, it's like I fulfilled more my life with some meaningful uh, and full emotion kind of an experience. That it's like it makes your life fuller. Like these kind of experiences. This is like a generalized speaking, okay? Because in that there all this contains so many different smaller experiences, right? Which you get in this one piece of walk, kind of. So
During a certain period of time, yeah, you have to get to experience so many things, right? New people, new places, different kind of circumstances, as you said, Samar.
then I would say you have to overcome many things. So emotional, physical, all these uncomfortable things. Like, for example, sleeping in the hostels with many people every day. Probably I'm a little bit spoiled in that way. So for others, it's maybe easier. But it's still, for me, always been problem to get up early. So it's also you have to do. And especially when you're mentally not very good, everything is a little bit more hard. So, and yeah, they divide Camino in three parts. They say like that. First, you overcome your physical obstacles, then your mental, and then you grow spiritually. And this has always been about this pilgrims. I think it's the common idea about all this pilgrim, wherever it is, or wherever you walk, right? Yeah. So that's how it is.
So, about the end of your walk, how was it? Where did you finish? So, did you finish it in the cathedral, the traditional way, or differently?
Absolutely. Um, of course, I did. Uh, um, let's say, how to tell you? There is, let's say, there is a French way which goes from France, right? So it's around 900 and more K, and many people were doing this all road. The most of people actually. There were only some who did like me, for example. And then you have most of the people where you get also most of Spanish, which actually I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe that people, the Spanish, the local ones, they do more for religious reasons. It's very different story last 100K because there are a lot of locals who want to get the certificate, which never been my goal. I even didn't know there is existed. I found it this in a way. I didn't really. I don't need any papers for doing this kind of stuff. So what happens in the last 100K? You get very crowded, too crowded, and you can only experience if you do that. So it's absolutely, unfortunately, it's absolutely different vibe. You don't have this, as we called with other people, this Camino magic. A lot of people are doing this for some paper reasons. And then I have to say the last 100K wasn't so enjoyable. So because everyone was running to this Santiago de Compostela. Yeah, I finished there, and I did in my last days like 30 and more K per day, which was hard. Yeah.
Last 100 kilometers, how many days is it? About 3, 4?
Depends how you walk, of course. Uh, uh, it can be 4, yeah, I would say, because it's like 25K per day, if you would say, but then it's even, 4, 3, yeah. But yeah. So what else I did, which is important, because the legend says that this apostle James, yes, and James, he actually died in Finisterre, which is the farthest point in Spain, town by the ocean. So people who I met and got closer on a way, of of course, we took phone numbers, and we were chatting and changing, like, how are you? So because they were quite fast. Some I was slower because my feet hurted, and so and they all said it's like, okay, we are going to Finisterre, and some decided to walk because it was about another I don't know, 20K, 30K, yeah, and some took bus. So I took bus after from Santiago de Compostela to Finisterre, that village, which was also a very magical place because it's really the farthest point on Europe, and to the north, like west. So yeah, in Spain, and you have a sign there. I have, of course, pictures from that, where it's like 00K, because when you walk Camino, you have always signs how many K you left till actually till Finisterre. So at the end, like a end point of the world, and then you have this magical place with cliffs and lighthouse. And I swam in the ocean. The water was cold, but at all not so cold. So it was, and I was together with my people, the nice people who I met, like closest people who I still contact with. So yeah, and then I went back to Compostela, and then I flew out.
By the way, maybe it's wrong question, but are there people who are going the other way? Or no, all the people are going one way?
That's a good question, Alice. Good questions. Yeah, indeed, there were couple who were going another way. But I feel sorry for them because you're more lonely.
Against the stream they were going, yeah.
Yeah, there were really some, but absolutely few.
So now, after this experience, would you consider doing it again? Maybe the same road, maybe a longer road, maybe somewhere else. Although I don't know where we have such. I think this is in Europe the most developed, the most popular.
Yeah. As I know as well, I actually don't know other roads. I know from Americans they have these things. They have these roads, and but as I mentioned, that it's not my favorite thing, hiking, walking. Like, it's just kind of boring for me in some way. But so I honestly I don't consider. But if I would have like a close friend, or person to me who want to experience that, I would do for company, because it would be interesting also to do not alone, because as I heard from other people, they've been doing it in two ways, with friends and then alone, and as they say, it's a completely different experience.
Yes, exactly. I suppose so. Because if you really want to have time with yourself, then you probably should go alone, right?
Yeah. And if you want to really experience this serenity, or how you call it, this loneliness, and you go other road. You go actually northern road, and it's more like I was reading, it's more tough. But and you really are alone there. I also met some people who did that road, and then they join the French road. That's how it happens. And they say it's like, yeah, you have no one there. You just walk. It's like not even animals.
So actually, you can customize your experience, right? According to your needs, you can Because yeah,
Absolutely.
the map shows that it's a huge net of roads. Yeah, it's not one
Absolutely. And they even made it from Latvia now also.
from Latvia.
Yes,
The
yes.
one. Wow.
So this is the thing, like I met people who walked from France. There was one from a faraway France, not like that. Yeah, that she was French and she had her tent with her, and she was like freelancer for writing articles about travel. So yeah, like you meet all kind of people and from all countries.
So thank you, Dana, very much. I think we got a very, very interesting insight into doing the Camino or road. Personally, I would like to do it one day.
Mm.
I like hiking. I don't know about hiking that much. I've been hiking maybe let's say 8 hours or something, not for several days in a row. So yes, I suppose it's challenging, but also I see that many advantages for your personality and well-being, and which you
and
can.
and also absolutely you can gain a feeling of community there, because it's always when people because people has like a common goal, maybe not so inspiring, but like reach this um cathedral, Compostela, and then you feel like in community.
That I
Uh,
can also imagine, yeah, that people are joined by this aim to do
yeah,
the
it's
pilgrimage.
very absolutely, and it's like a natural. Uh, it's a beautiful. It can be very beautiful detox from uh our virtual life, which we live in nowadays. So you get there uh, direct contact uh, and communication possibilities, which
So, Dana, perhaps at the end of our interview, I would like to ask, are there any practical considerations that you would um, you would say are important for people who are considering to do this walk?
yeah, right. I think it's some points I can mention which are important. Let's say um, I was ready even to do it, even I have my some issues with back, and that's also why I was quite scared. Will I be able to walk so long? But I was totally sure, and everywhere you will find that shoes are very important. So invest in the hiking boots, but don't take these heavy ones. They're like some very special, super. It's not it's not like dramatic where you would need like the best ever hiking because it's not a stones or something. Uh, Light and half size or size bigger. That's very important because remember your feet will swallow. Will be swollen. And another thing which is definitely important is pack less than more. Just take some money with you, and because you can buy everything. If you, of course, if you do this French road, because you have everything there. And I've been walking without poles. Trek, how do you call it? The trekking pole, yeah, yeah, sticks. Um, but then one guy gave me the poles, and I consider that I really can walk faster with that. So I think that's still a good idea to use poles and pack less than more, as I said. Uh, and of course, you can find everything in internet, what you really need. I'm not gonna go through that, but let's just say I'm 55 kilos and I'm 166, and I had I think smallest backpack from everyone I met there, had 35 liters, and everyone's like, "Oh, you have so small bag, lucky you," you know. It's like,
Oh, terrible.
and because the other ones would take 40, 45, but it's really, you have to consider how much you weigh, and like you can everything be smart, and to read on internet how to pack a good on optimal your bag, and yeah, shoes and smaller backpack, and what yeah, and everything else, the practical stuff, you can and a funny thing, but very, very important, earplugs.
Yes, because the rooms are big, many people.
Yeah, don't forget people snore. But I was pretty lucky with that. So, but I had a best earplugs, so thanks God they really helped me. But I know there were people who really struggled.
Thank you, Dana, very much with this very practical note and suggestion about earplugs. We will finish our interview. So next
Absolutely. Thank you, Alisa.